Call to order the Westmont Village Board meeting of June 23rd, 2016 at 6 o'clock p.m. and ask Clerk Simsky for a roll call, please.
Mayor Gunther?
Here.
The clerk's here. Trustee Addington?
Here.
Trustee Barker is absent tonight. Trustee Barry?
Here.
Trustee Guzzo?
Here.
Trustee Little?
Here.
Trustee Nero is absent. Manager May?
Here.
Finance Director Parker?
Here.
Attorney Zemanek?
Here. And I ask everybody to please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone. I know Chief went around and asked, still have an opportunity if anybody would like. I've got 2 requests for open forum. If there's anybody else who'd like to address the board on anything that's not on the agenda, you still can, Chief, but I do have 2, if not. If you want to address the board direct, please fill out one of those forms. Okay, we'll start out with open forum. I've got Stevie G here from, I'm still going to call you Stevie G, to talk about the Footloose production in the 4th of July.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, village trustees. I'm here to first invite you guys to the Footloose production, PVPN, this weekend. Has anybody had a chance to see it? No? We're here to, I hear on behalf of PVPN, want to offer complimentary tickets. We have Friday at 7, Saturday at 7, and Sunday at 2 o'clock. It's at the Westmont High School Auditorium. So far as reviews have shown that it's the best community theater production of Footloose we've ever seen. So please swing over. We'd love to see it. Mr. Mayor, I know you've been to a lot of productions before, and we keep getting better and better every year. I myself tried out for the Kevin Bacon role. And after a few rehearsals, I was found to be too good looking, so people couldn't relate to me. So I know everybody's laughing. Second, 4th of July. At Ty Warner Park, we have some of the best fireworks in DuPage County. We have great food, great entertainment. If anybody saw the progress, we were at the front page for the Barnyard Bingo. Deeds are still for sale, so if you haven't bought yours yet, please do so. And we hope to see you out there. We got a couple special guests, grillers, a couple people that are going to be out there really having a great time. So if you have nothing to do, please stop on by Ty Warner.
What time's fireworks?
Fireworks are at 9 o'clock.
9:30.
9:30. Well, we want them in there at 9 o'clock. Grab some food first. So. Does anyone have any questions for me? If not, we hope to see you at Footloose and 4th of July. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And entertainment and food and everything on 4th of July starts at 4, doesn't it?
Yes.
Food, yeah, food and beer and
The food, and there's a lot of kids. There's a kids
good stuff.
area from 5 till 4 to 8, 5 to 8. So there's a lot of activities for everybody at Ty Warner Park. And it's always on the 4th of July. So even though the 4th may be on a Monday, it's always on the 4th of July. I have another open forum request from Eva Marine, 527 Cumner Road, number 201, on easement issues.
Hello, Mayor. Nice to see you again.
Well, if you're going to speak, we just need your name too for the record.
My name is Preston Straub, and I'm the property manager at the association that she's referring to, Westmont Condos.
I knew that, but you still have to say it.
And I'm the president of the association. And we are here regarding an easement issue that we have that was created back when I believe the building was built in 1988.
And it's, what's the subdivision?
It's Birch Point Condos.
Yeah, just so everybody's.
And Morning Glory is a street that goes into part of our property. And so what happens is that the residents in Morning Glory are using our property to go through, which is, I guess, part of the easement, but we're having issues where, you know, sometimes they're driving like crazy through the south lot, wear and tear, not just by our residents, but Morning Glory. And we had discussed back in February, we didn't know where to begin, so we had a meeting with you and Steve May as to, you know, resolution. And so, you know, we got together and we came up with a few ideas that we're hoping Westmont could help us. The easement, there's no maintenance agreement, and normally from investigating, maintenance agreements are usually maintained by what would be maintained by Westmont, but we've been maintaining these repairs since '88 when the easement was created. So I don't know if you guys have, like, know particularly our property. We brought pictures if you want to see. And I don't know how this works.
Actually, do you see the yellow box on the podium
Oh,
itself? You set
okay.
it down there.
There we go. So, can you guys see? Oh, there it is, okay. So this is the entrance into our easement from Cumner. I don't know which one is,
It's Morning Glory.
I know. And this is Morning Glory coming into our property. And this is, when they turn the corner, this is the road in issue with all the squiggly repair lines needed to be fixed. So we're here to see what Westmont can do to help us. You know, help us maintain, you know, fixing the road is going to be, we got an estimate of ballpark $50,000, I believe it was. And we're ready, you know, K5, which is now fixing Morning Glory, is willing to help us out. To them, this is a small project, so they are pushing us to yay or nay with them. So that's what we're here for. What can Westmont help us with? The big issue at hand is that there is no maintenance agreement, and, you know, maybe we could come up with a resolution.
You said you had some other ideas, or?
Well, the other ideas would really, in regards to Morning Glory residents using our property, we came up with an idea of maybe, I know we can't close it up because of the fire trucks and the ambulance and the snow trucks and all that. So one recommendation was, can we create or have a berm built on Cumner? So if a fire truck comes onto Morning Glory on their initial entrance, they can exit through our berm on, you know, Cumner Road, where they don't have to do U-turn or three-point turn trying to get out. The snow trucks and the garbage trucks can go into our property, turn around and go back out. That would avoid so much wear and tear on the road from Morning Glory residents, and also avoid them driving like crazy, you know, at a high speed limit, even though we have, you know, 10-mile-an-hour speed limit, they don't adhere to our rules. And at night in the summer, in the winter, in the fall, when you're walking your dog, it's a little bit dangerous when they're turning the corner, and you're almost.
When you say berm, are you saying like asphalt, like a speed bump or a speed hump?
Well,
Or
I
did
mean,
you-
there's many
or did you
types.
mean turf?
You know, I've seen many types: grass, dirt, asphalt. We're willing to negotiate.
How many homes are in Morning Glory, do you know?
I can look that up.
20.
Just curious.
And for the most part, the beginning entrance of Morning Glory, those people end up using their entrance. The ones that are closer to our property, those use, you know, the
Closest.
closest, yes. And by building, you know, the berm, it would be less of a, you know, us having to deal with people, you know, even parking on our property, even though we have signs that say, you know, private parking. We have, when they throw their parties, they use our lot, and we try to be nice and not to tow their cars, but it's getting to a point where, you know, Westman, you have to help us.
Well, do you have anything else right now?
Devin?
Because I was going to have manager may at least give everybody a recap of where we started from and where.
The only thing I would add to what Eva said, she's kind of covered it all, is I have a copy of the plat, if you wanted to see it, I have a copy here, that does not contain any maintenance agreement. And also, in support of a berm, I would say that we constantly have from the Cumner car dealership, people coming, they're taking pictures on the property constantly, no matter how much we tell them. And they constantly park there on that particular lot. As Eva said, even though there's at least a half a dozen no trespassing private property signs. So that is an issue too, and I don't know how much you can help the association with that particular issue, other than us maybe calling the police each time. But that's the only thing I would add.
Okay. So Manager May, if you want to give a recap?
Yeah, and I guess for your benefit too, being not an agenda item tonight, certainly welcome the comments, and as well, if there want to look into this further, it should be deferred to one of the committees, in particular, Public Works Committee would be most appropriate here. But this isn't the first time we discussed this, and the mayor and I attended one of the association meetings. We were discussing it before that, but to kind of go through and do that as a group. So that was back in February, right? Mm-hmm. And we met, and if you recall it, that it would have been in February, that Public Works Committee meeting, we updated you on what the how that meeting was too. The wouldn't be prepared to. I do have a copy of the subdivision plat and the easement language, so we have that. Agree with everything you said as far as there's the lack of the language being in there, but the bottom line is, and how it's been left, I should say to date, is that not being public property, the inability to spend public funds on private property, and it must be an easement for a reason and not publicly dedicated, and then that's why the maintenance doesn't show up, because it is private property. So the issue with the parking and all that, you should address it in any normal way you would anyway, whether it's with the police department or the tow signs, or the police department is equipped to help you out with that issue. We talked about other things too, like drainage concerns along the north property frontage as well. But if you want to discuss this further, the specific ideas and the merits of it, it'd be good to do that. And Mr. Ramsey, I forgot when the Public Works Committee has been rescheduled, right? Do you know what the date is?
Well, but while everybody's here, I've heard due to a lack of a maintenance agreement should fall in the village, so I've asked the attorney to comment on that.
With no maintenance agreement, I will say this: it's common for easement agreements for ingress and egress to put the maintenance and repair burden on the owner of the property, or when they are silent, Illinois law is clear that it's the owner of the property's responsibility to maintain the easement for its stated purpose. So it would fall on the association to maintain it. So the village has no legal obligation to participate, but because this is grants rights to the public and the village to use it, you certainly can consider sharing in maintenance if you want. There'd be nothing improper about it, it's just not required legally.
And for
So would you be considered the easement holder then?
You are considered the
We're considered the
easement.
easement holder, and you are allowed to use the easement for whatever reason back in 1988.
I believe the easement says, if I remember correctly, it says to the public and the Village of Westmont. So actually, all of those homeowners and the entire community has easement rights to access that.
That's correct.
And then for the village board, for other perspective, the only two other examples that come to mind where we've participated in something like this, similar to this, was Williamsport Village and the Piers, and in both those cases, it was required that they were publicly dedicated, and we didn't even invest any money in that. They were required to bring it up to code first before we accepted it.
And that night at the meeting, I offered that as a option, that if it was one of the things we could consider, if it was given to us, then we in turn could repair it because it's our property. But you told me that wasn't an option.
And then you also told us to come up with that. You asked us exactly what we were
No.
requesting, and at that time, we didn't know
Sure.
what we could request, so we got together, created a committee. And no, that is not one thing we want to do. We don't want to lose a property. We don't want to lose the space that we have for parking in the winter, because when we get snowstorms, that's the section we have our residents park in, while the other sides are.
We wouldn't deny it. We wouldn't be eliminating that.
Well, the way Steve explained it, we would lose part of the parking lot, because you have to make it into a two-way
Oh,
street.
yeah, we'd have to make it wide enough to be,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we don't want to deal with people parking there, residents thinking it's a public park. You know, we have a pond, a pond there that's 12 feet deep that we don't want issues with people thinking they can picnic, fall in, and liabilities.
That happens everywhere, so.
Well, that's something I don't want to
No,
happen.
I agree, but the simple solution would be to consider giving it to the village and let us pay the 50, I'm just saying, that's an option that the board would have to consider.
And that's an option that we don't want,
Okay.
and that's why we were here, you
Okay.
know, to see what you can do.
Then it
It's
needs to,
coming up
yeah,
half and half. It's half and half with what we have to pay.
yeah, all right.
Bring it up at the next public workshop,
Yeah, I
put it on the
think,
agenda.
the reason I mentioned that one option, because that's what we offered. If anything other than that, then our committee, being a taxing body, you have to publish your agenda, 48-plus hours ahead, and you only can act on the items on the
No
agenda.
decisions tonight.
No decision. We can listen, we can talk, but there cannot be a decision. So anything sharing or anything would have to, we always put it through committee, and then it goes on the agenda. So, July 15th?
July 14th.
14th. So, but we can, trustees can still ask questions tonight.
Can I ask what the name of the car dealership is that you're having issues with?
Yes, it
Is
is
it Austin Martin?
Aston Martin dealership. It's
The one in Downers?
It's on the
Used to be
Downers
the
Grove
Saab
side.
dealer.
We're definitely towing them then.
Well, that's what I'm
You
thinking.
might want to ticket them because they've been driving like 60, 70 miles an hour down Cumnor, test driving their sports cars.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, we don't want that.
There's only a very, you're familiar, but there's, for people listening, there's only the frontage adjacent, the condominium and the Morning Glory properties is the only portion of Cumnor that is in the village of Westmont, and the rest of it is village of Downers Grove.
Any other,
Actually, I think the whole street's in Downers.
Steve, whose street does it belong to? Downers?
Cumnor?
Cumnor, but Morning Glory is in the village of
Downers.
Westmont, and then the rest is the easement across there, essentially their parking lot aisle.
So we're a little island inside Downers
Yes.
Grove.
And again, from what we gathered, I think the same developer may have built both. So in order to get the most out of the property, he gave himself a perpetual easement for Morning Glory and Birch Point.
Steve, what is a berm, or not a berm, speed bump run, cost-wise?
We have, plus, we actually have the rubberized ones that we borrowed from the village of Downers Grove that we, I don't know if we still have them in our possession, but we tried them in alleys at one point, and that was more of they're the wider ones, they're 12 feet, and I don't know what the value is, but you're talking a few $100s.
Could something like that temporarily go up?
It can, but all it does is address
Slow
the
people
speed
down.
at that
Yeah,
one point.
But at least that's a safety, at least initially before, if we wanted to try that to help.
Yeah. And then Morning Glory's it's in construction right now today, right?
Yes, they started construction today.
Oh, so, yeah.
So we will wait till the resurfacing was done, and then we can
We can put a
nail that down.
temporary speed bump before they get to your,
Well, it might
Morning
turn the
Glory
cars
side.
around, have them go the other way.
My experience with the temporary speed bump is that it hasn't worked at all.
Yeah.
I mean, people hit it, and really after a year and a half, 2 years, it's kind of flattened out. So I don't think, at least in the alley situation, it hasn't
No.
cured the problem whatsoever. And there's a sign there that makes it really clear, and once people realize they can hit it pretty good, I don't know, I don't know that it does a lot, so.
I have a feeling it might deter some of the sports cars going through there flying, because you're not going to want to hit that going
Well,
too fast.
those, the sports cars are down Cumnor, not actually in our property.
oh,
The speed racers are the actual residents on Morning Glory.
would
Sure.
they call Downers Police? Steve?
Yeah, I mean, it's theirs to
Yeah,
enforce.
so you live in Westmont, but Cumnor's a Downers Patrol Street, so. Anybody,
No, we can put it on for July 14th.
that's
and
when
we'll talk about it, yeah.
it'll actually be an agenda item, and then the discussion and looking at different options can be discussed. So, but now you know a firm figure of 50,000, and that's in the parking lot too, or if that's just a,
It's part of our parking lot, so it'd be a little less.
It's Wasn't
It was that aisle
Well, plus
just on
tax.
that side and then the parking off of it as well.
Yeah,
Minus tax?
Noriel
I was
helped them.
adding taxes, a ballpark of 50,000, and it's the entire south lot from when you enter Comnorth to where our garage ends, so it's just a straight shot. We couldn't get less because K5 would not agree to such a small job.
yeah.
Yeah.
Noriel hooked them up with the contractor after we awarded the bid.
It was great pricing, so their equipment probably is that big too.
Yeah.
So, anything else? Anything?
No.
No, you did the
you.
right thing, come here and get the ball rolling.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And then, real quick, did, one of the issues were with the car wash, and I think, did we talk to them, have they,
We did, there was some things with, sound-related things that were done like same day. There's other drainage things that we're still looking into, but what essentially has happened is that everything drains southerly across all that and across the property lines and is all trying to get to the pond. And that is just how it interfaces, because there's a retaining wall and only certain places where the water can get through, so it's very, I believe they're getting water in the parking garages, which is more evident in the winter when everything's icy.
so one of the solutions was to,
That's still
you're looking
being looked
into?
into.
Okay. So those were the three major, was the, yeah, go ahead, before.
In following up to Steve's comments, he's agreed to come out and look at the area further. I had Vitito cut all the branches and the overgrown trees along those two areas down last week. So it's all cleared out, so we can look at it anytime.
Great.
Good,
Okay?
good, thank you.
All right.
And then, Steve, if maybe we can research, I'd like to know what came first, the condos or the homes on Morning Glory? Or do
Certainly.
they come together?
The plat for the single-family homes is older than the condominium plat.
Okay. I kind of thought that, but I wasn't sure.
All right. And we'll have more, before that meeting, Steve will put a packet together, so we'll actually be able to see where the
All right,
road's
good.
at and how many homes. And so when we start discussing it, we'll have it all in front of us.
Thank you.
So, okay, thank you. Thank you. Anybody else, open forum? I don't want to, all right. Thank you. They're not here for the service awards?
I guess.
Can I still ask him to volunteer?
Yeah, oh, you should. All right, well, moving on to reports. The mayor's report is first, and I just want to comment on, we're going to look into a sister city committee, looking for a sister city in Taiwan. They have embraced us with their National Cultural Center here, Economic Center, and that there's a great relationship between the two, for us and Taiwan. So we're going to form a committee to kind of look at that. So that's one of my items. And the other one, I'd like to call Chief, there he is, Chief Weiss, to the podium for some very well-deserving honors.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight, I'm here and proud to present to you two of our long-standing emergency management members. David Lincoln, our EMA Deputy Coordinator, has been with the EMA in the village for 20 years. And Steve Barr, our EMA volunteer, has been with the village for 25 years. And we would have more of our EMA members here tonight, but they're downtown helping with cruising nights. But a few of them are here to represent, and to pay respects to their members that are receiving this. So the plaques read, the Village of Westmont honors David Lincoln, EMA Deputy Coordinator, member of the village's fire department, 1996 to 2016, in recognition of 20 years of dedicated service to the community. And The Village of Westmont honors Stephen Barr, EMA volunteer, member of the Village's Fire Department 1991 to 2016, in recognition of 25 years of dedicated service to the community. And I would ask that both of them come forward now so we can present their plaques.
Yeah, please, guys.
About the weather last night.
The lack of weather.
Don't be bashful, go on up. You
This isn't
guys
at
put
the
a lot
time,
of
that's
time
right.
in, so.
Thank you so much for the award here, the opportunity. And I will go ahead and say that Rod Habenreiser was the one that really made me come here 20 years ago when we moved into the area. I was an amateur radio operator and met him at a club meeting in the area. And so he was a strong influence in the group back then and still to this day. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I know I've said it before, we had information on July 4th, when everybody's sitting and enjoying themselves. Our EMA are working the parking lots, working the streets. They're helping everywhere around the Ty Warner Park at every special event, races, Memorial Day. They're available and volunteering their time, so really appreciate it. That's all I have, so I'll ask Clerk Simsky.
I just want to congratulate our chief, our police chief, he's not even looking at me, but anyway, on his great squad night last week, which reminds me, everybody, shut off your TVs if you got this on. Get out on the street. Cruising Nights is going on right now. It's a beautiful night. Now is the time to get out there. And we're trying to hurry so we can join.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Attorney Zimnick.
With that in mind, I have nothing to report.
Manager Manager May.
I had nothing either, thanks.
Trustee Guzzo.
I will be brief as well, Mr. Mayor. Our next Finance Committee meeting is July 7th at 4 p.m. here, so I hope everyone can attend. And I want to take this opportunity because we will not have a board meeting before the 4th of July holiday. I just want to wish everybody a very happy and safe 4th of July. Get out there and enjoy the fireworks. The weather's going to be great. And that is all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. And along with that, our next board meeting will be on the start of the taste on July 7th, so.
Who does the schedule?
Trustee Barrett.
I'll be brief also, Mr. Mayor. The Public Works is going to meet July 14th, and at our next meeting, we are going to meet at the Water Department, correct, Mike? Is that is the plan. So items like discussed earlier will be on that agenda. The public is always welcome. That'll be July 14th at 4:30, I believe, correct? That's correct. Okay, very good, thank you. And then the EIC, right now, they're working with the Clarendon Hills government, and they are doing, working on the Richmond Educational Garden Project, and they'll have updates for us soon. Again, that's a intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Clarendon Hills. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Little.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a couple of items. One, the Administration Committee meeting. The next one will be held July 21st in this room at 4:30. So please come out and join us for that. Upcoming community events, obviously the cruise nights are in place, and we're always looking for volunteers, and I'm hoping that everybody that's sitting at home listening to this on television and watching it will volunteer to come out and join us. If they are not out there, they need to volunteer and help us. So that's all I have to say on that one. We also need a lot of volunteers to come out and help with the Taste of Westmont, which starts on the 7th of July and runs through the 10th. Correct?
Yes.
And just want to make sure everybody comes out for that. It's very family friendly. Kids rides, a lot of wonderful music, and we have some absolutely fabulous sponsors that are sponsoring the event this year. And so just come on out and say thank you and enjoy yourself for the event. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Addington.
A couple of things, Mayor, thank you. First one is that last Saturday morning, we had ribbon cutting at Cafe 89 in Cuchanova. And of course, those restaurants, one of the investors is Mike Ditka. The coach was there. It was an excellent turnout, and I think we had a good time. They're great restaurants. Cuchanova is another of the new type of pizza establishments that you go in, the pizzas are about 12 inches, I think, and they can cook them up, what they say, in a minute and a half, minute and 3/4. You put your toppings on, and it goes into a wood-fired oven that I think is around 700 degrees, and you got your pizza in a couple minutes. So should be fun. Cafe 89 is a little bit nicer. It's still going to be more of a sports bar type, but a little nicer menu. Very nice people. Please have a chance, go in. They're in the first building when you on past Canelli Drive by St. James Crossing, and I understand that they have been very, very busy. So please stop and visit our 2 new restaurants. My next meeting for the Economic Development Committee will be on July 6th. That's Wednesday morning. It'll be here. We meet in the room, in the boardroom behind us, and we do have a couple of things on the agenda, new presentations that are coming in. We seem to be having something new now every month. So anybody who would like to come and see what's going on with economic development, that's July 6th at 9 o'clock. I put around on everyone's table a memo, strategic plan met, the implementation committee met, and what's interesting is that when this plan got put together by the citizens and the village staff and the board and everybody else that was involved, they came up with approximately 80 items. And what we've been trying to do as an implementation committee is figuring out and prioritizing these items. Well, 25% of those items got multiple picks by my committee. I think 5 of them or 4 of them were chosen by all of us. Another 5 or 6 were chosen by 5 of the 6, and then 4 of the 6 chose 10. So 25% were all on the same page. We're working on those now, and then once we get those out of the way, then we're going to start. We'll do the same thing over. Our goal is that these 80-some items that were chosen by the citizens of this community, that they all can be reported as completed by the time we get to our 100th anniversary, which is 2021. So that's the next step, and but when you get a chance, you can read this over. The committee is working very hard, and I'm very pleased with where they're going and what they're doing. The other thing is that DuPay's Mayors and Managers has canceled the legislative meeting for next Tuesday morning. They haven't got, there's no items, and actually nothing's been happening. The chairman of the legislature had said he was going to meet at least once a week over the next month. They've canceled 3 weeks in a row. So there's just nothing going on, which is Springfield. So I'll just keep reporting on that if there's anything. And the last thing I have to report is September 23rd at 4:30 and 7:30 in the afternoon, there will be a circus. The Westmont Lions Club will be hosting a circus. It'll be at Ty Warner Park, and you'll see a lot more stuff coming out as we get closer to the time. It should be a lot of fun. It should be enjoyable. And so we're looking forward to bringing something new and different into the community that we're doing it now in anticipation of doing it again as part of the 100th anniversary celebration. So some of the proceeds that we hope to make from the circus will go to the 100th anniversary committee to help fund some of the things they want to do. And that's all I have, sir.
Well, thank you. Moving on to agenda items to be removed from the consent agenda. Any of the trustees have an item they'd like removed? Seeing none, I'd ask Manager May to please read the consent agenda.
This evening on the consent agenda, first item is Village Board minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the Village Board meeting held June 9th, 2016. Next is Finance Ordinance Number 4. Take out the corrected sheet. In the amount of $1,393,602.88. First purchase order is for Dumeg, $19,760. This is the annual contribution. Dumeg is the DuPage County Metropolitan Enforcement Group. Next purchase order, DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference, which is our Council of Government. This is also an annual amount for $25,126.08. Next is Westmont Chamber of Commerce, $16,376, which represents the quarterly payment for the Economic Development Partnership. Next, we have M&J Technology in the amount of $37,534.70. This is for hardware. It's IT hardware, storage servers for the Citrix system. Next purchase order, Doors by Russ, $18,365. This is the next phase of the bay door replacements at the fire department. Next is Cummins Power, $29,395. This is for the fire department generator at the headquarters location. Next purchase order, Greenleaf Homeowners, I believe it's Homeowner Association, $29,608.78. This was an agreement, the original developer, we confiscated the letter of credit, did the punch list items, and when all the work is done, the balance is to be returned to the Homeowners Association, and that's what this balance represents. Next purchase order, Don Morris Architect, $12,477.89, represents plan review and inspection fees for the month of May. Next is Hornick Engineering Systems, $5,805, represents backflow tests and certifications. Next we have Standard Industrial and Auto, $7,774.99. This is a non-budgeted purchase. It's the repair of a failed in-ground lift at the Public Works at Fleet Maintenance. In-ground meaning all the hydraulics and mechanics were below the floor. It's more expensive to repair it than it is to replace it with an above-ground system. So this is that. It's replaced that error, but it's a little bit different type of equipment. That was, I don't know if I mentioned it, $7,774.99. Next is Illini High Reach, $8,615. This is for aerial lift work platform. You actually already approved a purchase order previously for a different vendor for the same item, and an amount that was about $800 more expensive. So continuing to look for the alternatives, they found a cheaper price for the same item. So this would supersede that purchase order. Last is R.W. Dunham & Company, $18,629.99, and this is represents a change order. It's the payment and the change order for Cumner Road. So you'll see this simultaneously with the change order itself, but this is the payout for that. Brings the total of purchase orders to $229,468.43, and therefore the total of purchase orders and the finance ordinance is $1,623,071.31. That concludes the consent agenda.
Do I have a motion to approve as read?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Addington.
Motion made and second to approve as presented. On the question. No questions? Anybody? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Little,
Yes.
Trustee Barry,
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. We do not have any unfinished business, so we'll move on to new business. A, 301 South Lincoln Street. It's a setback variance. Board to consider an ordinance requesting a zoning code variance request from Stanley T. Bales, Jr. that allows for a new home construction within a required side yard adjoining a street setback in the R3 Single-Family Detached Residence District. And I'd ask Community Development Director Ziegler to give us some additional information.
Thank you, Mayor. The board may remember this proposal from the Planning and Zoning Commission. Mr. Bale's house had a fire that resulted in it having to be demoed and to be rebuilt. And as he was going through the building plans, he realized that the house adjoining him was within 5 feet of its setback, which meant that his house had to be set further back, which then affected his building plans. And so we recommended, instead of requesting a waiver from fire code requirements, to go through the variance process to be slightly closer to the street. This is in keeping with the other houses in the neighborhood, and one of his neighbors came to the meeting and spoke in favor of the project. The Planning and Zoning Commission made a unanimous positive recommendation on June 8th, and we recommend approval.
Do you have a motion to approve?
So move Guzzo. Second Little.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the setback variance. Anybody here that'd like to comment on that? If anybody, now's the time on any agenda item, so seeing none, any questions from the board? I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Stan, you look confused. Oh, all right. All right. New business B, 5933 South Cass Avenue, the home occupation sign. Board to consider an ordinance approving the following request from Angela and Ewan regarding the property located at 5933 South Cass Avenue for the following in the R3 Single Family Detached Residence District. 1, zoning code variance request to permit a home occupation sign. And 2, zoning code variance request for relief from the maximum allowable sign size. Director Ziegler.
Thank you, Mayor. The Yuans have operated a legal home occupation dental studio out of their home for over 20 years. Recently, they had come before the Economic Development Committee to ask if it would be possible to potentially rezone to commercial to get more visibility for the property as a commercial business. The EDC was not favorable of that, but did recommend something, an alternative such as a small sign. Our residential sign ordinance is very restrictive. It only allows about 1 square feet. So they are requesting a sign that's not illuminated. It's on an existing landscaped wall, and it would be less than 5 square feet. This was a unanimous positive recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission, and we also recommend approval.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion by Addington to approve.
Second by Little.
Motion made and seconded to approve as presented. On the question, anybody in the audience? Any trustees have any questions? And this is where the planning and zoning does such a good job, so.
I think
Yeah.
we've all seen it through EDC and through the whole system, so hopefully this will help
Should
them.
be it, okay.
I hope it's a help.
So I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Motion passes. New business C, 2016 MFT resurfacing project change order 1 request. Board to consider an ordinance to approve change order 1 for the 2016 MFT resurfacing project. Current contract totals $2,142,966.86. In order to satisfy the bond requirements, we extended the construction limits to include additional streets to be resurfaced. Director Ramsey.
Thank you, Mayor. The change order, number 1, is in the amount of $586,165, is approximately 27% of an increase, which will bring the total contract to a little over $2.7 million. The reason, obviously, we have to do this is because we have to make sure that we spend at least the amount that we have set out with the bond. So we went out and looked at other streets that needed to be done. So we expanded our scope of work and this is what we felt was the appropriate amount of streets that needed to be done to meet the costs that we needed to spend.
Do I have a motion to approve change order number 1?
Motion by Addington to approve.
Second Guzzo.
Motion's been made and seconded. On the question.
I had an additional comment just for perspective. Typically, and I alluded to it in when we were approving the purchase orders, that even though project goes on and there might be a dozen change orders that are done in small amounts. So when they become a big dollar amount or aggregate a big dollar amount, they'll come to you. Or for efficiency here at the very end, we do one change order that summarizes all of them and you get it. That's not the case here. This is actually just, the one, it is the final.
Yes.
But it was we did multiple purchase orders because the PO went over and then we extended locations later. So this is a little bit different.
Didn't most of those bids come in almost 30% under what the
Yeah.
engineering costs were anyway?
And
Right?
this was also, a bond, the last project, we have to expend it, so we added a lot of locations on the tail end.
Great.
Which is great for the residents. I mean, we
Yeah.
got a lot more streets done than we thought we were gonna be able to get done, and it worked out great. I mean, it
I think
really
we did
just worked
more
out
work
fantastic.
within the streets too, like
Yep.
more curb work got replaced that would not have normally happened otherwise.
And again, Steve's referring to the bond, but by law, we have a 3-year window to spend that. And so we're basically, the money we save by getting these competitive bids, we're repairing additional streets.
That's correct.
Seeing no other questions, roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
We'll move on to D, the Cumner Road Reconstruction Project. Now, this is the Cumner Road we own, south. So
That's right, South Cumber.
change order number 1, it's the final. Board to consider an ordinance approving change order number 1, the final for the Cumner Road Reconstruction Project. Director Ramsey.
Thank you, Mayor. The balancing change order number 1 is the final amount of $18,629.98. It's approximately 1.3%. This is just the final change in balancing orders, just to pay off what we still owe the contractor for the work that was done last year. It's just the final amount of which brings the final contract amount to $1,461,937.73, which is from the original contract of $1,443,307.75.
Do I have a motion?
Motion by Addington to approve.
Second by Barry.
Motion made and second on the question. Anybody? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business E, engineering agreement, the CBD Alley Reconstruction Project, Section A and Section B. Board to consider an ordinance authorizing an engineering agreement with Thomas Engineering for a Phase 3 construction, inspection, engineering, and material testing services on the Central Business District Alley Reconstruction Project, Section A and Section B. Director Ramsey.
We're requesting the approval of a sum of $84,238 for Phase 3 construction inspections and engineering and material testing services for the village's CBD Alley Reconstruction Project, Section A and B. To kind of recap what that is the sections between Cass and Lincoln, the alley between there, and it's the first 2 blocks. So it's basically from Cass to
Burlington to Irving.
Burlington to all the way up through almost to Norfolk. So it's those 2 first sections. Staff recommends approval of the proposal in the amount of $84,238. Phase 3 construction inspection and engineering material services for the CBD Alley Reconstruction Project, Section A and B.
Do I have a motion?
So move Guzzo. Second Little.
Motion made and second to approve as presented. On the question.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Do we have a preliminary start date, once this is all done, what we're looking at to get started on that construction?
That's a great question. We're meeting tomorrow. We have a meeting with Downers Grove Sanitary District at their office tomorrow afternoon, or actually it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and they are talking about when they're going to get started. It's going to be very quickly. And once they start and they get going, then we're going to follow right behind them. A little side note to that too is that we have samples of the bricks behind the water department, and since we're having our Public Works Committee meeting on July 14th, I would love it if you guys, either before the meeting or after meeting, come out and take a look at them,
Vote on your
get an
style.
opinion on what you guys like.
It's a good idea.
And then we can come to a final decision. I know Trustee Barry, he's had an opportunity to come by and look at them. There are some, I think he agrees with me, there's some good choices, and really
Yeah, I
welcome
thought he
your
didn't like your choice, and he's asking everyone else.
No, no. Actually, we agreed. I'm not going to say because I want to be. I don't want to be, wavering one way or another.
Secret vote.
Yeah,
It's a hard decision, though, because they all look so nice.
they do look nice, and so on the 14th we can do that.
Thank you.
Any additional comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Can wait for it to be done.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. New business F, Emergency Telephone Safety Board, ETSB resolution. Board to approve the issuance of a resolution and letter of interest signed by Mayor Gunter concerning the village's participation in a new computer-aided dispatch and records management system. And I'd ask Chief Mulhern to provide us some additional information.
Thank you, Mayor. Countywide, to improve interoperability throughout the county, there's a move on by the Emergency Telephone Safety Board to create a county-wide computer-aided dispatch CAD and a records management RMS system. And right now, there's mostly cities in DuPage are participating in this. We're all looking forward to this. It would improve the interoperability of us inputting data and sharing data more efficiently with the state's attorneys, the sheriff's office, the clerk's office. This was all discussed in committee, and staff highly recommends this take place.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Barry?
Second Little?
Motion been made in second to approve. On the question. Did Chief, you drew the short straw to present it, or?
Yes, because
Yeah.
Fire Chief Weiss is doing the next agenda item. so-
Okay, so you flip. All right.
Yeah. Send an email, that's okay. I can do both.
Seeing no questions, roll call, please.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business G, intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Addison, Illinois. Board to consider approval of an intergovernmental agreement, an IGA, with the Village of Addison to provide dispatch services for the Westmont Police and Fire Departments. Chief Mulhern.
Thank you, Mayor. The Village of Downers Grove will no longer provide emergency dispatch services beginning in mid-2017. The Village Addison was selected to provide these services beginning in early 2017. Services will be provided by the Addison Central Dispatch Center with the acronym of ACDC. Staff conducted research on the issue of choosing a vendor or public safety answering point, the PSAP, to provide emergency dispatching services to our fire and police department and residents. Addison Central Dispatch Center is unanimous choice by staff, and staff recommends approval of the IGA of Addison ACDC to provide services. And I might add, and I know Chief Weiss wants to come up and assist me, but this is also for both police and fire. This is not just for police departments, for all our public safety agencies. Addison also will assist with the street department and other issues which currently the Downers Grove Police Department provides services for.
And I do have to say during committee that you guys have thoroughly researched this and made a great presentation.
Thank you.
So,
It was, there was a decision. We had two vendors to pick from. Staff feels very confident with Addison. We also, bottom line is, will they not only give us adequate services, but what type of services will they provide for our residents? And we feel very, very comfortable that our residents will be receiving first-rate services from this provider.
And the only thing I want to add is that we're finally getting a dedicated fire desk. That's been wanting for about 5 years. And to accomplish this, Addison has reached out to Pleasant View Fire District and Tri-State Fire District to bring them into their center, and they're hiring other fire dispatchers. That's all they've done is fire dispatching. So to get the ball rolling, Addison has agreed to set up their fire dispatching at the end of September at Tri-State's Fire District till they get their new building built. Pleasant View and Tri-State will then be dispatched by the end of September through Addison dispatchers. It'll be their dispatchers becoming Addison employees. And then sometime in November, early December, Addison Fire District, Wooddale Fire District, Itasca Fire District, and Bensonville Fire District will move their fire dispatching in the Tri-State. And then we're looking at moving our fire dispatching sometime in January of 17 in the Tri-State. So we'll be the last ones to move in. We're hoping all the bugs are worked out for then. And
And the dedicated fire line has been something you've been striving for, and now we finally all have it.
yes.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Barry.
Second Little?
Motion been made and second to approve on the question.
A few quick comments. Just to clarify, there are two separate IGAs. They're identical as far as language goes, but it's one for the police, one for the fire. So the approval tonight is for two IGAs, and the ordinance reflects that. Second, I know the chiefs are working through some performance standards that are to be exhibits to the IGAs. Those aren't finalized yet, so the ordinance states that the approval and the mayor actually signing off on the IGAs is contingent upon the chiefs finalizing those performance standards, level of service. Maybe that's just fire concern with the fire desk. And then thirdly, to the chiefs, we're currently under an IGA with Downers Grove for dispatch, and we should work together to make sure we are, I know they're aware of this move, but that we're properly terminating that agreement in advance when the time comes. I believe we may have a 60-day termination time period, but
Downers Grove?
Yeah.
I know they exercised their notice to us.
Oh, they did.
But it was a year notice. So I wonder if it's a year in both directions, but either way, they've advised us, so we're good to act accordingly.
I would still recommend sending out a notice under the agreement that we're terminating, just in case they were to try and revoke theirs or something, and
I'll just not pay them, and then they'll have to cancel the agreement.
Yeah, exactly. Good
We
point.
will work on that, because, again, we still want to share services, public safety services, and not restricted to the dispatching part of it. And as well, too, is we want a friendly, efficient, exchange of information, exchange of equipment. We're sad to see Downers Grove, but however, they're moving in a different direction than where we want to move. And so they're going to one center and we're going to another. And we'll work, our staffs will work very, very closely with theirs to make sure there's a seamless and successful transition.
Any additional comments?
And just tell them, when we send the notice out, that the money we're saving, we're using to keep improving our streets.
Everything we say for improving our street. If not, no further questions, we'll do a roll call, please.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business H, the 2016-2017 North Fire Protection District Agreement Extension. Board to approve an ordinance to extend the agreement with the North Fire Protection District for 1 year. Chief Weiss.
Yes, Mayor. The North Fire District realized that their current contract expired May 31st, 2016. So because the SSA has not been worked out yet, the board signed a letter and sent it to Manager May requesting an extension. So this extension of the agreement is to allow for the establishment of the special service area, and they're requesting it for 1 year. And just to add to that, last month's North Fire District meeting, as I reported at the public safety meeting, the county would like to see 50% of the survey and responses back. After doing the surveys twice, they only have 43% of the residents there. So where they thought they might be able to move forward, they're now back to go back out and resurvey just those that didn't respond. So at their July 11th meeting, they'll be finalizing, the survey is what it is. They're finalizing the list of the ones that didn't respond, and then they're going to deliver those door to door. Association up there is going to help out, and hopefully we get enough back to get us over that 50%, and then we can reapply through the county again. So I expect that probably next May, we'll probably be coming back in front of you again, asking for another extension, because I don't think we'll have the SSA done before June of next year.
And for the county to create the special assessment, do they have to have it on a ballot, or yes?
They have to have it on their agenda, and they have to, county board has to approve it first.
Okay. And then it gets levied?
Well, there's a period of time allow for objection.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So even if they got it, it's still going to be a while?
right.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve Little?
Second Guzzo.
Motion been made and seconded. On the question. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Moving on, new business I, the purchasing text amendment. Board to consider an ordinance approving a purchasing authority text amendment to increase the threshold for purchase orders requiring board approval to $20,000. And I'd ask Finance Director Parker to give additional information on this.
So back in 2007, the board raised their threshold from, I think what was at that point, $2,500 up to $5,000. And the Finance Committee has discussed this a couple of times, and at the Finance Committee, there was the discussion that it should be raised at least to $10,000, but probably not higher than $20,000. So in interest of transparency, we've put the higher amount on the agenda right now. The $20,000 is the amount that matches the state statute, which requires the board to accept bids and approve bids when there's public works projects of $20,000. It's also, if you look at the survey, the most consistent number that's used by the other communities.
Do I have
It was,
Oh, I'm sorry.
it was brought up by Trustee Addington previously, and we looked into it, and I just counted up tonight, and these, you're still approving it, it's just that it's, whether it's in the finance ordinance or whether it's individually called out purchase order. And tonight, the total of 12 purchase orders would have been reduced to 4 if this was in place already.
Yeah, I'm thoroughly in agreement with doing this.
Then do I have that motion?
I'll make the motion, why not?
Second, Barry.
Motion been made and seconded to approve as presented. On the question. I think it's good to stay consistent with what the state requires. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
So I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Moving on to one of our annual requirements, new business J, Illinois prevailing wage for DuPage County. The board to consider an ordinance ascertain the prevailing wages as defined in said act. And Manager May.
Mayor, your introduction summed it up. It's annual and it's required. So we're required by law to adopt this. All it means is that when we do any of our publicly let projects, any project that we work on, that we identify that the Prevailing Wage Act applies to this project, and it's up to the contractor to comply with it. We don't even enforce it nor administer it, but if there was ever an investigation or anything, we're the ones responsible for requesting the certified payroll for our projects and such. But again, it's state law, and you need to reaffirm this annually.
It lists the wages for every trade category.
And I think every month it gets updated, so you go to the website and the actual prevailing wage rates themselves, and there's hundreds of them listed.
So I have a motion.
Motion to approve, Barry.
Second Little?
Motion been made and seconded. On the question.
Just to point out that the last update was to the prevailing wages was July of 2015, so that the state has not completed their survey and study and published what the new prevailing wages are. So what you're doing here is adopting the July 2015 prevailing wage rate. And the ordinance states that if the state ever gets around to updating the prevailing wages, that you will automatically adopt those new rates without the need to come back and reapprove the ordinance.
There's a bright side to nothing getting done, and here's
So if we approved it in 15,
It's so funny.
it's just the actual schedule, the 15.
Yeah.
Right. But we have to use whatever the
It's a
current one
joke.
is.
It just,
Okay.
if we operated like that, nothing would happen.
I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll move on to new business K, readoption of the Illinois Plumbing Code. Board to consider an ordinance approving the readoption of the State of Illinois Plumbing Code with local amendments. And I'd ask Attorney Zemanek to comment on this.
Sure. The State of Illinois Plumbing Code was adopted by the board in 2015. It was submitted then down to the, I think it's the Illinois Department of Public Health, which we're required to do. They looked at it and they said that they were now requiring some slight wording changes as to how we reference the State of Illinois Plumbing Code. It's really a citation difference, and how we listed out our local amendments. The format was just a little different. Nothing in the substance is changing, it's just formatting changes, but Nick Weinert instructed me that we had to make these changes. We did make them, we sent them off to the state, they approved this ordinance in its current form, so it's before you now.
So the state is doing something.
Do I have a motion?
So move Guzzo.
Second Little?
Motion been made and seconded on the question. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
New business, the last new business.
What is that?
Intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Schaumburg. Board to consider an ordinance approving an intergovernmental agreement, an IGA, with the Village of Schaumburg for the shared IT facilities. And IT Director Lilienberg.
This was discussed at the Admin Finance Committee. It's strictly to allow us to co-locate services at Schaumburg's location initially, but the IGA also allows them to co-locate here if need be. But the initial is strictly on our side. There's no cost to it.
Motion to approve, Barry?
Yeah. Motion approved by Barry,
Second Little?
second Little. On the question? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Oh, I know.
Motion passes. Miscellaneous. Anybody, any items? Seeing none, that we do not have an executive session, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Little?
Second Guzzo.
Motion's been made and second to adjourn. Roll call, please.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
No. I'm going to make them vote. You wrote that beautiful memo, we should make them.
There you go. However, a motion only requires, this is not an ordinance, so a motion only requires a majority of a quorum, so he doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to, all right.
Wait, there's another, did you
So
call?
do you want to change yours, or do you still?
Not act. Let's stay till midnight.
3 to 1.
No, I have Guzzo yet.
Yes,
Okay. I thank everybody
Marie, don't
for
you dare.
coming this
I
evening,
would, trust me, Harold.
and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.